It's the brand new Miller Electric Center. $120 million, 125,000 beautiful square feet.
And a new season begins for the Jacksonville Jaguars with high expectations. It all starts tomorrow.
A brand new facility with one goal, make the Jacksonville Jaguars even better. And that includes some pretty interesting details right here in the Miller Electric Center.
In the game of football, how much you win depends on how much you work. And the Jaguars have a brand new weight room to help them do just that.
The facility also boasts some special artistic touches honoring Duval and our home team.
Well, it's the hottest time of the year, and the Jags will be practicing out on a very hot field. But you know what? The fans will be more comfortable than ever.
It's more than the field and the fans. It's also the food, what it takes to feed the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jags are getting to practice where they play. We go around the league to show how exclusive a one-stop shop is in the NFL.
The players are here, and they're on the practice field tomorrow morning.
And we get you set for it all right now.
This is an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
It's a new home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it might just be the start of new things at Jags headquarters. The Miller Electric Center opens just in time for Training Camp 2023.
Oh, we got a touch of art. All the details in the $120 million facility the big Jags had, giving this place an identity in the sports complex area.
Happy football season, everyone. We've made it. We survived the offseason and starving for a new season here in Jacksonville. I'm Brent Martineau, along with Dan Hick and the entire Action Sports Jax team, Action News Jax team. Get you covered for the next hour. We'll be joined by Mark Lamping in just a few minutes. This beautiful facility right behind us opened a week ago. The players arrived today, and training camp starts tomorrow.
Yeah, we are training camp eve, if you will. The players get after it tomorrow, and really a lot of the same guys are back from that team last year that gave us, I always say this, if you couldn't become a Jaguar fan last year, you're never going to become one, because the thrills that this team provided this city, unbelievable. And so we can't wait to get things started. Talked about it earlier. We changed the word hope to expectation, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah, all those thrills bring high expectations, and this team certainly has it around the National Football League, and especially here in Jacksonville. As we mentioned, the players reported to camp today. Some players reported back on Friday, but everyone getting a look at the new digs here at the Miller Electric Center, and they are ready to go. These guys are professionals, but getting into this building and all the newness is certainly fun for these guys. Makes coming to work a little bit more fun as well. We spent the offseason asking everyone one simple question: is this team a Super Bowl contender? And the answer is one we can all smile about. Do you feel like you're a contender?
Definitely. I think we've proven who we can be, and even beyond that, I think we're better than we even finished last year.
I feel like we do have the right guys, in that locker room that can get it done, and it's the mindset of the players too that make it and kind of feel that.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously we feel that, and results proved it last year.
Bring on training camp, and that means bring on football season. The Jags hit the field in a little over 12 hours from now. Much of the next 2 weeks will be held in the early morning, and gradually camp starts to shift into the afternoon.
Well, here are the open dates for the fans. Jaguars.com, by the way, to register in advance, and many people already have. There's shade at this place, so going to work late, catch some ball, hide from the sun, sounds like a good thing to try and do the next couple of weeks. But here is the deal. Most of the sessions the next couple of weeks are already sold out. No walk-ups will be allowed in camp, so make sure you come to practice. You definitely have a ticket.
1, 2, 3.
While the Jags arrived today to this new facility, the grand opening was a week ago. This was a vision of Shad Khan and Urban Meyer a couple years back. Doug Peterson and this football team now the beneficiary of a state-of-the-art football facility.
A vision and belief that we can do amazing things in Jacksonville. Together, we made it a reality. We made it happen. So, thank you.
It brings pride. It brings joy. It brings fulfillment. But I understand that our job is not finished. It's just begun.
Well, the bells and whistles are here, modern technology at its finest, and along with the football team and football operations, this facility will house the media and the Jaguars media team as well, and there's versatility to host more than just football camp potentially down the road. And, well, the man that looked this entire project and many others in his career, and many right here in Jacksonville. Joins us live on the show right now. Welcome in Team President Mark Lamping. Well, is it as good as you thought it would look on paper?
You know, I think it's better. I think it's better, and I think the reaction from the players has provided evidence of that, and we couldn't be happier. And you know, as everybody knows, this project was really the first step in the stadium in the future, because we had to get the football team out of the stadium before we could really seriously consider renovations to the stadium. So it's a big first step.
One of the things you talked with the fans and all of your huddle meetings and such is what an exciting time we have here. The time is now for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is just a part of it, but it's unbelievable, frankly. I mean, we've been here for a long time. I remember trailers over here, Mark, and they were doing the old Gator Bowl. So right. To come out here and see this, it's great, but it's just the start.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, Jacksonville's on fire. Mm-hmm. You know, the team is ascending, and this generation Jaguar that we've talked about. You know, for those of you that have been here from the very beginning, this off season we've sold a lot of new season tickets. I mean, a ton of new season tickets. Last year at the end of the season, our average age of our season ticket holder was 54 and a half. The seats we sold this year during the off season, average purchaser 32 years old.
How about that?
Yeah,
like that.
So it's
that's going to mean a lot to you. Know, we've been waiting for that in the franchise history.
A little bit though, Lamping.
Hey, look,
easy up on.
Hey, that's both of us.
But that's, I mean, we've kind of been waiting for that in Jacksonville, right? We knew we were a franchise in its infancy, even for a long time. I mean, 20 years seems like a long time, but you're still a franchise in its infancy.
No, we've talked about that. This is a real melting pot of NFL fans. As you know, a little over 50% of us that are fortunate enough to live here came from outside the state of Florida. So a lot of people arrive here with their football allegiances, but this big bubble of people that only know the Jaguars, they're now getting into their 20s, 30s, and 40s and have the capacity to follow the team in a different way, and we're seeing it in terms of support for our business.
Well, more great news today. We hear about the 4 seasons, which you've been telling us all along, so that's certainly an exciting thing. But just talk about now kind of the next steps as we go forward and try to secure the stadium deal, if you will. What happens next with you guys in the city?
Well, the last 30 days have been really important. We've been out talking to the public. We had a total of 16 community huddles. Over 2,000 people attended. The goal of that was to get feedback to improve our plan, and we certainly achieved that. The plan we have now is better than where we started. We published our report last week, delivered it to all the elected officials in the area, and now ready to sit down with the city designees. And we're certainly on path to do that. The city has to deal with their budget right now, but I certainly would expect that we will be sitting down in the not too distant future to see if we can make something work. And I'm confident we can, because our interests are aligned.
Yeah.
Both of us want to get to the right solution.
Yeah.
It takes a little luck, a lot of hard work, but a little luck. If you look at other NFL towns, cities, organizations, the Patriots, they brought in good head coach and a good quarterback while they were building the stadium and everything in Foxborough. Obviously, the house that Peyton built in Indianapolis, you watch what happened in that city. Obviously, you guys have put in a ton of work, but you got Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, and it looks like a really good football team. How important is that in the equation of everything?
Oh, it's huge. And I think most people, I really appreciate what you've said. Hope has turned into expectations. And, I think a lot of people view this organization differently than they did going into 2018.
Right.
Because I think there's a real understanding that, this may well be sustainable going forward. And, I wish we could say we were smart enough to finally get the really good head coach, a generational quarterback, and have all that happen at the same time that the stadium reaches the end of its useful life. But no, it certainly makes it a lot easier.
Well, congratulations on everything. This is going to be great. The fans can't wait to come out here, and we're going to enjoy training camp.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming out, and always, you're big supporters. You pay a lot of attention to the Jaguars, and you're a great conduit between the team and our fans.
And
so
I think
thank you very much.
The fans sense the opportunity here. I do. I mean, and I'm sure you've heard that when you were talking to a lot of them this summer.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of optimism for sure.
Feels like everyone's pulling in the same direction here in Jacksonville. Mark Lamping, Jaguars team president, good luck down the road. And when we come back here on this new season special here on Fox 30, the fans are going to love it. Tomorrow morning, a couple thousand of them will be on hand, and they'll get away from the beast that is the sun. That story coming up next with Mike Burish. And one of the things that really just expedited the excitement here in Jacksonville Oh, that Chargers game. How good was it? Down 27-0, comeback win 31-30, 4 interceptions turned into 4 touchdowns, and the expectations hit a new mark. Just one of the memorable moments, an epic finish in Jacksonville during the playoffs last year.
You're watching an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
I know you hear me, but you gotta feel me.
Hey, this just in. It's hot in the summer in Florida. It's really hot at training camp. You have to be a diehard to watch a camp practice and be willing to sweat through it. Some players will lose 7 to 10 pounds during a training camp practice.
I can lose 7 to 10 watching a training camp practice. The Jags were thinking of you as they built this new Miller Electric Center. Shade and fans for the fans, part of the amenities at the home of Jaguars training camp 2023.
How about that? A hashtag Battle of the Sunsets here on a Tuesday night on the eve of camp. Brent Martineau along with Dan Hicken as we get ready for this new season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, one that's highly anticipated. Camp starts in the morning. Players will start to take the field around 8 o'clock in the morning. Doug Peterson talks at 8, and then 8:40, 8:50. It'll be a short session tomorrow. But for everybody that comes out, it'll be the most comfortable training camp practice of all time in Jacksonville.
Keeping in mind that most of this facility was built, with the players in mind, right, Brent, when you go forward. But it's their home for a couple of weeks at the outset. But the fans will be a big equation, and the bleachers are fabulous, quite frankly. Think about for training camp. Think about what they've sat on previously. There's a look at the bleachers, and you can see the covered seating. But also, as we said, giant fans that will keep some cooler air moving. With more on the weather for training camp and what you can find at this new facility, let's bring in the chief. There he is, Mike Burrish. He's going to tell us how hot it's going to be over the next couple of weeks.
Wow, what a new practice facility for the Jags. And you know what? They've made you, the fans, front and center in an effort to make it more comfortable. I mean, you've got nice seats, right? But more importantly, you have overhead something to protect you, a roof, and these big fans. There's 9 of them that go all the way to the end of the bleachers. All that combines to make this a lot more comfortable than it otherwise would be out there on the field where the players are, where, of course, it's still going to be very hot. Realize at this time of year, it's the hottest time of the year in Jacksonville. It's the dog days of summer. The average high is 92. The average low is 74. It's very, very warm, and it's not uncommon for us to get some rain or a thunderstorm. Well, the fans will all be protected here. The average temperature underneath this roof will be at least 10 to 15 degrees cooler than out there. That's not bad.
Well, the Miller Electric Center is the first NFL facility to utilize, now pay attention,
I'm listening,
the MOTS Group's AirPat Advanced Root Zone Management System.
We got that system?
Yeah, we do.
We got the MOTS?
Here's what it does. It will drain the field after storms. Those happen.
Yeah.
It can cool the field during these hot summer practices and warm the field during those cooler winter months. Plus, any water that enters the drainage system goes through a water recycling feature. That's called modern technology, Dan Hicken.
I wonder if it's kind of like the fairways at the stadium course.
Yeah,
how quickly they drain,
Yeah,
you know. So
yeah.
one of the interesting things,
Sub-air.
when you talk about the Miller Electric Center, or the MEC, is its location, right in the shadow of the Jags' home on Sundays. But now, instead of making that long walk from the game day locker room to the practice fields, Jags players will have a dedicated space for their Monday to Friday work.
It's a plus for us because, we are in a different spot. It's going to be nice having a different locker room, a dedicated locker room, but we aren't, the players will still park in the same spot. Like it'll be familiar but different. It'll make that locker room a little bit more special, being that it's for games only.
Logistics are a big key, and for camp and daily practices, this makes a lot of sense. In a day and age where more and more teams are taking their practice to the suburbs, the Jags are getting the best of both worlds. Let's bring in Action News Jax's John Bachman. He has more on other teams around the NFL that either stay close to home or travel to their practice facilities.
Most years, the Jacksonville Jaguars will spend a few days of training camp on the road participating in joint practices and getting a look at other teams' facilities. In the last few years, that included stops in Atlanta, Minneapolis, and Baltimore. One thing they all have in common, they practice in the suburbs. Now, with the Jaguars' new facility finished, they become part of the minority that practices where they play. The arms race of practice facilities includes a lot of politics and battles over who foots the bill. One reason teams are moving their practice headquarters space, no example better than the Vegas, where the Raiders plopped this facility right in the middle of the desert, 15 minutes away from the stadium. Yeah, another reason, some cities want to attract teams to raise their profile. El Segundo in Los Angeles doing just that as the Chargers build a new facility and join the Lakers and Kings as LA teams based in the city that sits in the shadow of the airport. But not every new facility is a match made in heaven. This is as far as the Panthers got in building a new facility in Rock Hill, South Carolina, after disputes between the team and the city led to all kinds of legal disputes and demolition of the failed project. The Jags getting the best of all worlds, a close facility with all the amenities, and they built it in under 2 years. I'm John Bachman. Back to you.
You know, in 1995, the Jags' very first training camp, they decided to go to Stevens Point, Wisconsin. They wanted to get out of the heat. They got hit with a heat wave in middle America, and the story goes, and we were up there for it, the cows were dying. It was so hot. And there was no... Coughlin tried to smoke us out of there because there was no air conditioning where the media stayed in the dorms. So it was unbelievable.
Good idea.
And they did it for 1 year, but it was so hot they kind of wanted to get out of the heat. Now, this is back when there were two-a-days. Oh, yeah. But those guys were diving into those garbage can ice tubs after practice like nobody's business. I'll never forget
The
it.
legendary stories at Stevens
so
Point.
Great.
That'll always live in the lore of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Take a look at the team meeting room. This is where a lot of the Jags players and coaches will spend a bunch of their time. This is where the speeches are made. The expectations are set. The learning is done. Class in session in the team room, plush accommodations for the learning that takes place to get ready for the season. And remember, get ready during the week for each and every game. One of the highlights of this new facility is the artwork in and outside of the building. The story behind all the art coming up next.
And the pizza maker at the Miller Electric facility. You're darn right, the pizza maker. We wonder if they deliver. We asked Marcel to get us a pizza about 2 hours ago.
We'll take the leftovers, Dan.
Still nothing.
You're watching an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
Traffic center that way. We gotta make sure. Gym's that way. Fields that way.
What else do you need?
Thank you, Foye. That's Jags linebacker Foye Aluakon playing tour guide. Players these days are used to first-class facilities. Some had it in high school, many in college, and the Jags certainly have it with this Miller Electric Center in the NFL.
Might just be the beginning, depending on how things go around the stadium renovation, adding the shipyards and the continuing rise of Jacksonville. A lot to potentially get excited about around here. This is the new indoor facility, the newest one, and of course the flex field still exists, and that will be used for the city down the road. Welcome back, everybody, to the beginning of a new season. Brent Martineau along with Dan Hicken as we get you set for training camp that starts tomorrow and introduce you to this new facility. It's like we're going to run the roost around here. We won't get to use that much of it, but it's a pretty good setup for the media, isn't it?
And the details. Yeah. That's what's so impressive, right? This 125,000 square foot facility has a lot of different features, right? But one thing you will definitely notice is that artwork. There's a lot of cool things that catch your eye, including a big Jags logo that gives the facility an identity, and of course this mural outside of the building. Action News Jax Nika Hughes has more on the blend of art and the appearance here in this beautiful new facility.
As you mentioned, the building is pretty impressive on its own, but the art featured there gives it an extra special Duval touch. The Miller Electric Center is where fans will get to see the Jaguars showcase their skills during practice. But they'll also get to see custom works of art on display.
Really proud of how our organization, City of Jacksonville, and the council put together the thought process for be it local, regional, or international artistry to be a part of this.
The Cultural Council of Jacksonville and the team announced 6 artists were chosen from across the country and as far as Spain to create designs for the new facility, including Jacksonville's own Aisling Miller McDonald. Here's a picture of her holding a replica of the 16-foot-tall steel sculpture she designed to sit outside of the team entry lobby. Other art at the facility includes an 8-foot-wide illuminated Jaguar head sculpture, goal post-inspired bike racks for fans, a 400-foot wide mural celebrating all things Northeast Florida. Vinyl murals for the amenity grandstand area honoring athletes and football in Duval. Unique art capturing the spirit and pride of a community and its home team.
I think it just reflects our community. It speaks to Duval County. It speaks to Jacksonville. There's no mistaking when you walk up or drive up to the facility. It's just a Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville Jaguars facility, and I think we're really all pretty proud of that.
Something else interesting to note, more than 150 artists representing 25 states and 9 countries submitted for a chance to have their art on display at Miller Electric Center. Talk about the global impact of the Jags. Back to you.
A lot of conversation about the facility, but this feels even better because the Jags have high expectations to be good on the football field in that place this season. What to look for at camp starting tomorrow is coming up next, plus some breaking news out of the NFL about a quarterback.
Getting richer, getting a lot richer as we look at the schedule for the Jaguars. It's a fun schedule, right? It's chock full of some outstanding home games with a Sunday night and a Monday night. Man, we can't wait for this schedule to play out and see how the Jaguars finish the season. But first things first, we got to get to training camp practice number 1.
You're watching an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
The Jacksonville Renaissance is underway, and I am so glad to see the Jaguars playing such a big part in it.
It takes all of us. It's not about one individual or one person, but it takes a village to build something like this, and that's what we have here in Jacksonville, and that's why I'm so proud to represent this football team.
The ribbon-cutting ceremony a week ago, and the Renaissance and the rising of Jacksonville and the Jags continues with football season starting tomorrow morning.
A symbolic welcome to the Miller Electric Center, and also a welcome to a new season, and welcome to maybe the most exciting time, dare we say, in franchise history.
Various views of the new facility, the Miller Electric Center. Look good, feel good, play good. The Jags going for the trifecta as they begin the 2023 season.
And throughout the day, Jags players reporting to work, getting acclimated to the new digs, but tomorrow it's just football. Practice begins. Training camp 2023 is underway.
Hey, welcome to our 1-hour special live on Fox 30. A new season begins. Brent Martineau, Dan Hicken, along with the entire Action Sports Jax team. And we have breaking news around the NFL. Justin Herbert, who lost on this very field at the end of last season to Trevor Lawrence, gets a record-breaking contract, 5 years, $262 million, I believe it is, Dan. And that will set the standard for maybe what's to come here in Jacksonville for Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow still has to add a few more bucks to that.
And he will. And then if the franchise quarterback here plays like we all think he will play, then we're going to be getting north of 300 perhaps next year, depending on the length of the contract. You know, we've talked a lot about this great facility. It's been a lot of fun. But there's 2,200 fans or so coming out tomorrow and every day during training camp who want to hear about football and this football team. So let's do that. Let's talk about some of the issues with our Jacksonville Jaguars.
There are none, Dan. There are no issues. There are just big storylines from Doug to Trevor, and obviously that always leads the way. But there are some headliners in this Brady Bunch box. Let's get to it. The Jags' latest move was signing DeJuan Smoot to a new deal. He's back on a 1-year show-me deal, and it makes sense. Smoot has been a mainstay now in Jacksonville. He's been productive for the last 4 seasons and has been one of the team's sack leaders in that stretch. He's also coming off a significant late-season injury when he tore his Achilles. Smoot should make fans feel better about the Jags' pass rush.
One of the bigger stories of the offseason was the suspension of left tackle Cam Robinson. The news came out on draft day. Robinson, a former second-round pick, signed that big extension before last season. Now has to sit out 4 games on a performance-enhancing drug suspension. That means Walker Little will play left tackle the first month. Rookie Anton Harrison will hold it down on the right tackle side.
There was so much excitement around last year's first-round picks. Remember that? Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall. Devin Lloyd, the team traded back into the first round to get the young man out of Utah. Both had moments, but both were also a bit disappointing with their inconsistency. They might be the 2 hungriest players on the Jags roster to have a big second season. If Walker and Lloyd play well, this defense could be really good.
We think we know this, but we might know we know this. The offense is good, like really good on paper. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, a returning offensive line for the most part, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Agent Zero. Ooh. Calvin Ridley. Wow, that sounds good. The Jags scored 9 more points a game last year than they did in 2021. What can they do this season if they stay healthy? It's hard to find a defense that will shut them down. Doug Peterson calling plays. It looks like he's going to have a lot of fun on Sundays with this group. 400 points or bust, Brett Martineau. I think this could be the highest scoring offense in Jags history.
Wow, how about that? The Jags solidified a happy group on offense when they extended Evan Ingram last week. Both parties wanted it to happen. Both parties made it happen. Ingram coming off a career season, one of the most prolific seasons in franchise history from a tight end. Trevor and Evan have a good relationship, and Ingram has a unique skill set that makes him a tough matchup for any defense. Expect another big campaign from Evan Ingram. And one of the nuanced things around this whole Jacksonville Jaguars football franchise and football team right now is the staff is back for year 2. It's year 2 in this system, both on offense and on defense. And Doug Peterson preached that all last year. We'll see what kind of difference that makes in year number 2.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I think Doug, obviously everybody raves about the job he did offensively. And if you think back on last season, some of the things that he was able, think about the Baltimore game. Scoring the late touchdown, deciding to go for 2. He put it on the line right there. They don't get that. They probably don't go to the playoffs. Man, it was a fine line. But this team delivered over and over and over again.
And it might have changed this season. As we welcome you back here to the Miller Electric Center, we bring in Action Sports Jax Stuart Weber. He has more on some of the details. Offense needs good details. This facility has good details.
When it comes to building a new practice facility, every detail is considered to make the Jacksonville Jaguars as efficient as possible. Take, for example, the new indoor practice field. It's right next to the outdoor field. So at the first sign of bad weather, they shift inside. Practice continues without a delay. And that's just one of the many details of this new Miller Electric Center.
Once the coaches started coming in, it felt like everyone was coming back from summer vacation to a brand new, it is a brand new office space for them upstairs and a brand new facility for everybody. And it's been fun watching everyone's reaction on how big and how state-of-the-art this entire facility has come together.
Hamza Ahmad and his staff have had their challenges over the years. As the director of football operations, it's his job to make sense of yearly trips to London and all things travel-related. But who knew traveling a couple hundred yards might pose just as big a task?
No, it's challenging, but it's a good challenge. I think everyone's up for the task. We'll work through some of the kinks and some of the punch lists and the checklists, and I'm sure there'll be a lot once all the different groups start moving in and the players get here. It's going to be a fun challenge to work through.
And it's not just the team benefiting. It's easier than ever to market the Jags.
If you look across the league and NFL franchises, this is going to be kind of right at the top of the list. I think it's going to provide a wonderful opportunity for our players, our coaches, our football staff. There's a lot of momentum. Ticket sales are at an all-time high, and we're really proud and pleased to open up a facility for the fans to experience like they probably haven't before.
With the ability to start from scratch, you can really see some of the mistakes that were fixed with this new indoor football field. For example, the roof. Much taller than it was in the flex field, so Logan Cook can get his full punts in if they have to move indoors. For now, inside the Miller Electric Center, Stuart Weber, Action Sports Jax.
There are a few more details, by the way, about this footprint. 18 acres, the total site on, and there you can see some of the numbers. The 2 outdoor fields, 4.1 acres, and the building structure. How about the fan amenity area? That is a half an acre, which is almost 24,000 square feet.
There you go.
You see that full
all
extension?
out, yep.
What was that, 90? You see that full extension?
Yeah, we don't see the feet there. Action Sports Jax, Marcel Robinson training for the upcoming season. Apparently, yeah, it's a grind for him as well. You got to be in peak physical condition to weather training camp. Unfortunately, we don't get to use the workout facilities on a daily basis. A major part of this new building is that beautiful weight room. It's a physical sport. The Jags have one of the newer and state-of-the-art weight rooms and recovery rooms in the entire NFL.
Yeah, obviously, that's a big deal for the coaching staff and for the players. Let's bring in Action Sports Jax's Marcel Robinson. Maybe still doing some lifting and talking about what that room has to offer the Jags.
Way to the beach, Marcel.
In the game of football, it's all about being bigger, faster, and stronger than your opponent. And right here in the Jaguars weight room is where they're going to come to do just that. They have all the tools at their disposal to come in here, get better, get stronger, and faster so they can dominate their opponents on Sundays.
It's
unbelievable. And the guys who've been trickling in, they love it. They walk in and it's like a kid on Christmas. They looking around and I'm like, yeah, now it's time to get to work.
New life has been brought into the Jaguars strength and conditioning program. Everything has been redesigned with efficiency in mind. But there is one key component that has head strength and conditioning coach Cedric Scott smiling from ear to ear.
Space, that like my whole mindset was like, we get to train the whole entire team at the same time. They're gonna work even harder with newer equipment. You know, we can be more innovative in design of what we can come up with.
The recovery process is just as, if not more, important than the lifting sessions. The Jaguars stress the importance of keeping their players upright with their newly designed recovery room.
You want to do everything you can for player safety, player health, and player performance. I'm telling you, how player-centric and state-of-the-art and flow, just the technology and the equipment, it's amazing. The underwater treadmill, a bigger cold tub, a bigger hot tub, a bigger recovery space, and all the things that go into the flow, those were key.
It's connected right to the indoor, so we can do our warm-ups on the indoor field and just move the guys right in. They can come right into the workout. I mean, look at it.
Now, a lot of coaches will tell you that games aren't necessarily won on Sundays. Sure, the points in the scoreboard matter, but the game is actually won in the preparation in the days leading up to those games. This Jaguars practice facility absolutely gives the players everything they need to win the weekdays so they can win on Sunday. At the Jaguars Miller Electric Center, Marcel Robinson, Action Sports Jax.
Did you know 14 custom designed teal and black Jaguar branded weightlifting racks, a nearly 2,000 square foot cardio deck about the weight room. In the recovery room, the players have access to massage chairs, cryotherapy chambers, as well as a sauna cocoon pod. My goodness, they have just about everything you could ever want in the weight and recovery room.
The players, the team, they can have the weight room and all that stuff. We want the food.
And the
Show
pizza.
us the kitchen.
The pizza maker. Where's he at?
We'll get to it.
Candy. We got candy down there?
Yeah, we go talk a little bit nutrition, and I don't think they want the ice cream, the candy, and the pizza part of the conversation. That story is coming up next. Doug Peterson and the staff didn't have to navigate far, moving from inside the stadium to this Miller Electric Center. The migration took place over the last couple of weeks for the entire football operations staff.
You're watching an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
Should be more for the guy that's trying to keep weight off.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Meanwhile, this guy's just eating pancakes.
I gotta get him under control this year.
Yeah, we're in trouble with pizza and ice cream. This one I'm gonna have to rein in.
Nutrition expert Mindy Black, the nutrition expert. Coach Peterson having some fun. I vote for the pancakes as well, Coach. As we welcome you back here, right outside TIAA Bank to the Miller Electric Center, the brand new facility, training camp around the corner, like literally just about 12 hours away. Players take the field around 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Brent Martineau along with Dan Hicken, the entire Action Sports Jax team, and there's so much newness, freshness, anticipation, expectations. Throw all the words, they all fit right now around the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And I like best is that we're finally moving to my area of expertise. The kitchen. Nothing
You
quite
are a
like
heck
it,
of a cook.
What's for, no. What's being served? What can I have? What's for free? I'm hungry. That's kind of how I live my life, right?
Box guy.
Marcel doing the weights and, you're talking football, but let's get to the kitchen, the most important part of the facility, right? You can have the field, the shade, the weight room. Give me the dining hall, 5,000 square feet. It has a peanut butter machine.
What's a peanut butter machine?
I don't know. I need one in my house, though. I know that. Action Sports Jax Olivia Tasley has more on a kitchen that feeds a football team.
When you think of a player's tools on the field, you think of their footwork or their speed. But in order to perform at the highest level, they don't need to go to the practice field or the weight room. They also need to come here and fuel up to get ready for game day.
Hey, you got any good snacks?
She's the woman with the plan, the meal plan, that is. Meet Mindy Black, the Jaguars' Director of Performance Nutrition. During the season, she's in charge of feeding the Jaguars' 53-man roster. But her plans go far beyond just putting food on their plate and calling it a day.
My role is to help guys through nutrition to perform their best, recover their best, and hopefully reduce chances of injury.
With such a vital role in player health and safety, having access to a top-of-the-line kitchen is key.
It's a beautiful facility. It's so much more spacious and so much more user-friendly that I'm really excited for the players to be able to get in here and utilize the area. They're going to be much more fueled for what their needs are.
And in a timely fashion, not only did the equipment inside the kitchen get thoughtfully planned out, where it went in the design plans is helping Black defeat her biggest rival.
This access makes my job so much easier because we now have a kitchen literally right behind where they eat. So we have access to fresher foods, quicker foods. If we have a guy on a certain diet, we can get his food really quickly. Before, we had our kitchen about 10 minutes away. So we would have to cart up all the foods. And a lot of the times these guys don't have 10 minutes. So if we're out of chicken and they have to wait 10 minutes, they're just missing out the chicken in the previous building. Whereas here, we can get it going right away. We can batch cook and we can have a lot less food waste as well.
So what went into planning the perfect NFL kitchen for the Jacksonville Jaguars? How about this? A gas-fired pizza oven, 2 salad bars, a made-to-order deli station, a grill for proteins, a pasta station, an omelet station, a protein shake station, a peanut butter machine, and for the head coach,
well, we have a fully functional frozen yogurt machine, but he is a Haagen-Dazs guy, so we will have some Haagen-Dazs in the back as well.
So the freezers are fully stocked with Haagen-Dazs?
Fully stocked with Haagen-Dazs.
And it's not just carbs and proteins these players need to fuel up on. The smoothie machines are working around the clock. Over 5,000 smoothies are made just for training camp. In the Miller Electric Center, I'm Olivia Tasley, Action Sports Jax.
Well, Olivia mentioned the smoothies, but there's more to it. Look what the players ate last year during camp. 1,700 pounds of bananas, Dan. 500 pounds of pasta. 1,400 pounds of potatoes. 182 gallons of milk. 6,500 pounds of chicken. 2,900 pounds of beef. 1,100 pounds of seafood. We're talking pounds, over 1,000 pounds, and 10,000 eggs consumed last year during camp. I wonder if this year's team will outdo it. We'll find out.
I could challenge the pasta. I could eat a few bananas, and certainly.
We'll put you on the early list of media member to consume the most.
I would say this too, by the way, if you're thinking, you're always looking for revenue sources. If you're an NFL team during the offseason, just open that place up and call it the Jags room and make it a restaurant.
There you go, limited capacity.
People love to come eat
Open
there.
just 5-6 months a year.
Yeah.
Very good.
Want to check out the equipment room?
Let's take everyone to the equipment room.
Okay, we go from the kitchen. We'll go on and check out the equipment room. It's not just food these Jags are equipped with as we go down the hall to the new equipment room.
It's an equipment manager's dream to be able to design your own equipment room and locker room, and you get everything you want. And myself and Kyle and Tyler, we all pitched in and we got the things that we needed and wanted. We talked to a lot of equipment managers around the league and in college, and just kind of get ideas from everybody. Things they did well, things when they built theirs that didn't work out like they liked. A lot of good ideas that just kind of came in to make us more efficient.
You can see all the college football helmets and other helmets on that wall. They're going to put them in the top 25. I'm not sure if you'll see the Gators helmet up there or not like this fall. We'll find out. Hey, inside the locker room, 91 players, meaning everybody will fit during training camp. A new players lounge features recliners, a barber shop, and of course ping pong. And a little late for Josh Scobie, but the locker room includes a full swing golf simulator to get the guys ready for charity tournaments at TPC Sawgrass, or just give them a little downtime. We're talking amenities after amenities after amenities. It's a great place to be.
I think, too, one thing. I mean, okay, so you sign with the football team. You want to make the team, right? And maybe you're a later draft pick or undrafted free agent. And you're here in this locker room, right? But when you transfer over to the stadium, it means you made the team. That'll mean something to these guys when they get to go into the locker room there for the first time. It'll be a little bit different than they used to have all the side lockers for all the extra guys.
True.
So that'd be kind of cool for them.
Yeah, the Sunday locker room, if you will.
Yeah.
Because they'll use this during the week, of course. Hey, when we come back, this is all about the players for the most part, but there is something in it for you. It's all about you for the next few weeks here at training camp. What you need to know before you go or come to camp 2023.
You're watching an Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.
You know what I forgot about? The fans couldn't come out to training camp last year. Remember, it was at Episcopal while this was being built?
Oh, wow.
And so the fans haven't seen the Jags practice at training camp for a couple of years. And when they get to this place tomorrow morning over the next couple of weeks, they're going to really like it. One, because of the shade and the fans, but also because of the new facility.
I've never seen so many fans excited about training camp. And listen, part of it is this beautiful facility, and it's going to be a lot more enjoyable with the shade and the fans that we've shown throughout this program. But the other thing is this football team, and they can't wait to see this football team and what they possibly can do this season.
Well, football's an amazing gravitator, right? It pulls everybody together, and especially when it feels like this off last season. I said to Mark Lamping, it feels like everyone in Jacksonville's pulling in the right direction right now, or at least in the same direction. We'll find out if it's the right direction. What about for the fans? So we know there's a lot for the players here. The Jags thought of the fans when building the facility. The shade, of course, the fans that will be over their heads, and now places to eat, drink, and shop.
Wow, that's pretty good. And let's show you a closer look at the fan shop. It's a 900 square foot shop operated by Fanatics. It'll be open for training camp practices for ticketed guests, Fridays on home game weeks, and during all home games. They'll have it all in there for you.
I like that it's open on home games.
Yeah, don't show my son that.
Once you get your gear, you can get your grub.
Dad? What about the jersey?
There are 2 permanent concession stands, the Tailgate Grill and the Market. Market is more grab-and-go stand. Think of Dailies like concession, while the Tailgate Grill is kitchen-based stand, both featuring Coca-Cola products.
Let's give you some things you need to know before you go. Some tips, if you will. You are allowed to bring one factory-sealed 19-ounce water bottle.
All right.
16-ounce water bottle.
And they've got water bottle filler stations. Nice.
You can refill them. You can refill them at several filling stations in the concourse area. Big difference this year. On top of the new facility, the Jags have switched to mobile parking passes. So have those ready before you enter the parking lot. Good luck with that, Dan.
Download the app right now, Dan. We'll walk you through it tonight here on the show and enter near Lot P. So that's what you need to know before you go or before you get to camp in the morning. Of course. Hey, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a real fun season. It's fun to open this new building. It's going to be great to see you tomorrow and the next couple weeks out at Jags training camp with all this excitement and anticipation, and justly earned by the Jaguars. They've got a good football team, Dan.
They do, and they're going to be the favorites in the AFC South. The idea is to get into the playoffs however you have to do it. Find your way into the tournament. Anything can happen once you get into the tournament. I'm not worried about being a top seed. I'm not worried about being a 2 or 3. Just win the division, get into the playoffs, maybe get a home game, whatever you can do. This place was electric 1 year ago, and it's a great time to be a Jaguar fan. Like I said earlier, if last year didn't make you a Jaguar fan, nothing will.
Hey, Kings of the AFC South right now. You can see it. It's a beautiful night right behind us. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful morning as well. Thanks for hanging out with us for the last hour. A little hashtag Battle of the Sunsets to end this one live on Fox 30. We have First and 10 training camp coming up tomorrow night, 11:15 on the first day of practice, and every practice after that. So you know it. We've got you covered. Your official Jaguar stations with Action Sports Jax. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, everyone. Happy football season.
Thanks for watching this Action Sports Jax special. Jags, a new season begins. Sponsored by Best Bet. Experience the best at Best Bet.